Imagine looking up at the night sky to see the moon. Its glow is enchanting, its presence mysterious. But have you ever wondered why it changes shape throughout the month?
New videos every day. Subscribe to our channel.
Well, buckle up, space explorers, because today we're diving into the captivating world of lunar phases. Now, here's a fun fact to kick things off. The moon doesn't actually change shape. Shocking, right? What's really happening is that we're seeing different amounts of the moon's surface lit up by the sun, and that's all because of the moon's journey around our planet, Earth. This celestial dance between the Earth, moon, and sun creates the different phases of the moon that we see from our cozy homes. So, are you ready to delve deeper into this lunar mystery? Join us on this cosmic journey as we unveil the secrets of the moon and its phases. The moon's journey around the Earth takes about 29.5 days. This journey is known as the lunar cycle. Now, let's dive in and uncover the magic behind these moonlit nights. The moon doesn't make its own light, much like your favorite mystery novel, it simply reflects the sun's light. As the moon orbits the Earth, it appears to change shape, but it's not really changing, it's just our perspective that alters. Imagine a giant cosmic dance where the Earth, the moon, and the sun are the main dancers. Let's start with the new moon. During this phase, the moon is positioned between the Earth and the sun. It's there, but we can't see it because the side of the moon facing us is in shadow. As the moon moves along its orbit, a tiny sliver of its surface starts to catch the sun's rays. This is the waxing crescent phase. The crescent part of the name refers to the moon's shape, while waxing means it's getting bigger. The first quarter isn't a quarter of the way through the cycle, but when we can see a quarter of the moon's surface. It's also known as a half moon because we can see exactly half of the moon's face. As the moon continues its journey, more than half of its face becomes illuminated. This is the waxing gibbous phase. Gibbous is a fancy word for humped, referring to the moon's shape during this phase. Next up, the full moon, when the moon is directly opposite the sun, illuminating the whole face that we see from Earth. Then, the moon begins to shrink or wane. During the waning gibbous, last quarter, and waning crescent phases, less and less of the moon is lit up, until we're back to the new moon again. As the moon travels around Earth, we see different parts of its illuminated surface, which leads to the various phases. Opening. The moon has 8 main phases. Each phase is a result of the moon's position in relation to the Earth and sun. Now let's take a journey through these phases, starting with the new moon. This is when the moon is located directly between the Earth and the sun, rendering it virtually invisible to us. It's like the moon has decided to play hide and seek, and it's hiding behind the sun's brilliant light. Next, we have the waxing crescent. Waxing means growing, and crescent refers to the slim curved shape that we see. This phase occurs when the moon starts to move away from the sun, revealing a small silver sliver in the sky. It's like the moon is slowly peeking out from its hiding place. The first quarter phase comes next. Despite its name, the moon is actually half visible from Earth during this phase. It's called the first quarter because the moon has completed 1/4 of its orbit around Earth. Imagine the moon as a half-eaten cookie, with the right side glowing brightly in the night sky. Following the first quarter is the waxing gibbous phase. Gibbous comes from a Latin word meaning humpbacked, which perfectly describes the moon's appearance during this phase. More than half of the moon's face is illuminated, but it's not quite a full moon yet. And then, we have the moment we've all been waiting for, the full moon. This is when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun, and its entire face is illuminated. It's like the moon is showing off its full glory, lighting up the night sky with its radiant presence. After the full moon, the moon starts to wane or shrink. The waning gibbous phase is similar to the waxing gibbous, but this time the left side of the moon is brightly lit. It's as if the moon has started to feel shy again and is slowly turning away. The last quarter, like the first quarter, shows us half of the moon's face. But in this phase, it's the left half that's visible. It's like the moon, having turned its back to us, is giving us one last glance over its shoulder. Finally, we reach the waning crescent phase. In this phase, only a thin crescent of light is visible on the left side of the moon. It's like the moon is preparing to disappear, bidding us farewell until the next lunar cycle begins. Closing. Each lunar phase brings a new view of the moon, making our night sky a continually changing and fascinating spectacle. The moon is not just a beautiful sight in our night sky, it also has some intriguing facts associated with it. Let's delve into some of these lunar curiosities, shall we? First off, did you know that the moon is the Earth's only natural satellite? It's true, and it's quite a bit smaller than our home planet. In fact, you could fit 50 moons inside the Earth. That's a lot of moons. Now, one of the most noticeable effects the moon has on Earth is the tides. You might have noticed how the sea level rises and falls throughout the day. This is due to the gravitational pull of the moon, and to a lesser extent, the sun. When the moon is closer to a particular part of the Earth, it pulls on the water, causing a high tide. When it's farther away, we experience a low tide. So the next time you're at the beach, you can impress your friends with your knowledge of why the tides change. Moving on, the moon has been a part of many myths and legends throughout history. In some cultures, people believed that the moon was a goddess or a giant celestial rabbit. In others, it was thought to bring good or bad luck, depending on its phase. Some even believed that a full moon could turn people into werewolves. Of course, these are just stories, but they show how the moon has fascinated humans for thousands of years. And here's a fun fact for you. The moon doesn't have its own light. The bright glow we see is actually the sun's light reflecting off the moon's surface. That's why we see different phases of the moon. It all depends on how the sun's light hits it. Lastly, despite being our closest cosmic neighbor, the moon is still pretty far away. It's about 239,000 miles from Earth. That's almost 10 times the circumference of our planet. Isn't it amazing how much there is to learn about our closest cosmic neighbor? We've journeyed through the lunar cycle, explored the phases, and uncovered some fascinating facts about the moon. From the invisible new moon, through the waxing crescent, to the first quarter, we've seen the moon grow brighter in the waxing gibbous phase until it fully illuminates the night sky as a full moon. Then, we watched as it slowly dimmed through the waning gibbous last quarter and waning crescent phases back to the new moon, completing the lunar cycle. We've discovered how the relative positions of the Earth, Moon, and Sun result in these different lunar phases. We've learned about the moon's influence on our tides, its size compared to Earth, and the many myths and legends that have been woven around it. Remember, you can observe these phases yourself just by looking up at the night sky throughout the month. So the next time you gaze up at the moon, you'll know exactly why it's showing you that particular glow. Keep exploring, and remember, the sky is not the limit.
New videos every day. Subscribe to our channel.